We have with us Miss Dani, who is the owner and advanced instructor at Studio Pole. She has been for the past 12 years. She is also the coach of our other two guests that we have coming up. She is the owner and founder of Hardcore Pole Dancing Championships, co-owner with sister Megan B of Blaq Apparel, and upcoming Hardcore Up and Coming in Melbourne. She's judged pole comps all around Australia and is an extremely experienced both competitor, coach, and pole dancer. So we're really excited to have her here today. We also have the incredible Unni here with us today. She is the winner of Miss Pole Dance Australia 2024. Miss Pole Dance New South Wales 2024 first runner-up, the Hardcore Semi-Professional 2024 winner, Exotic Generation 2024 winner in floor work, and Exotic Generation 2022 floor work winner. So she has an amazing accolades in a very short amount of time. So we're super excited to hear what she has to say. We also have with us the incredible Kym Chia. Kym has a passion for learning new skills that pushes her physically and mentally. After 12 years of competitive gymnastics, she was looking for a new challenge and started pole dancing at Studio Pole in 2012. Her love of the sport has evolved since then, and for the first time became a winner in 2014 at the New South Wales Pole Championships as an amateur. Since then, she's been exploring different styles, placing in several different competitions, including New South Wales Pole Championships 2018 professional first place, Miss Pole Dance Australia New South Wales 2022 first place, and Miss Pole Dance Australia 2022 first place. Kym's journey has been one of constant evolution and learning, and she continues to step out of her comfort zone to bring something new to the stage with intent to inspire others.
I mean, I think it's a really big deal that in your studio that you have two national champions of Miss Pole Dance Australia. Like, that is such an incredible title to get, and it is such a hard title to get. So, and I know when this happened, when you won after Kym had won only a few years earlier, you've got a studio out, not in central Sydney, but further out in Sydney, Dani. And I remember I messaged you and I said, you need to know this is a huge achievement. Like, you're doing something great in your studio. Congrats. I think that as a studio, I know the girls are going to get all the accolades and they're going to get, people going, oh, you guys are amazing. But Dani, you're doing something in that studio as well. It's not like the girls obviously are incredible. We know that, but you're recognizing talent, you're supporting talent, and you're creating an environment for these girls to thrive and be able to get to that level. So I would love to know, we want to know your secrets, right?
Yeah,
What are you doing? Tell us the things. What are you doing?
Does she chain you up, Unni? Does she chain you up and force you to train? Tell us.
She's got a stick. They have to sleep at the studio. They eat at the studio. I like.
No. Can't leave.
I don't know. There's so much to say. Like, firstly, these two especially are just super, super talented. Like, you can see that from a mile away. They both have really different journeys and have had different journeys as well. But I think, I don't know, for me, I've always loved the competing side as well. I think that stems back from when I was a competitive gymnast. Like, I was a gymnast before pole. I did gymnastics for 13 years competitively and then coached for 7 years after that. So coaching for me has been a really big love. And then once I knew that I could kind of adapt that with pole, I was like, yes, like, let's do this. If there's people that want to compete, I'm all there for them. So yeah, like, there's not a lot of students that necessarily want to compete, and that's so fine. You can take pole wherever you want it. But the ones that do, if they're 100% in, I'm 100% in with them. And like I said, I just love coaching so much, and yeah, like, I give it my all to these girls that want to compete. But like, the whole studio is behind these guys as well. Like, I feel like we have a very supportive and a very community based studio. Like, everybody kind of knows everyone. It doesn't matter what level you're in, how long you've been at the studio for. Everyone kind of knows everyone, and everyone looks up to the instructors and like the higher girls. So obviously both these guys are instructors at the studio as well. So I think not just having me behind them as a coach, but having the whole studio behind them and constantly supporting them day in, day out has definitely helped with their journeys. So I guess, yeah, maybe just like the whole community vibe that we have going at the studio. It's one big family, you could say, one big family.
Feel like Danny's being a bit modest too, though. I was like, so for me, anyway, when I think there have been instances where Danny has stayed at the studio until like midnight with me because I've been procrastinating, and she will be like, Kim, come on, like we need to finish this routine. So, like, the hours she's put into like me with, I guess, like my issues of procrastination is like massive. And I think she knows deep down that I want to do something, and I probably have a mental block that I'm trying to overcome, and she helps push me beyond that. And I don't think that like everyone else would necessarily invest their time like that in people. So yeah, massively, I think. And you also tailor how you coach people depending on who they are, so it's not just like a one like single approach. It just depends on each person. Like Unni is so, I have never seen someone so organized before in my life. And the way that she prepares for comps, I always look up to. And I'm like, I need to prepare like this. This is incredible. So Dani will obviously like approach her very, very differently versus me.
Yeah, because you've got a really obviously good coaching background and you know what you're doing with it. But that's a big deal, staying with people till midnight.
Yes.
I just know like as a gymnast, we were always coached all the time. So I relied on my coach to push me, to my limits, and if not, sometimes past my limits. So I kind of know, like with the people that I coach, I have a connection with them, I have a friendship with them, and I have a bond with them as well. So I'm well aware of their mental state like the whole way through as well. So I kind of know how much I can push versus when I need to like step back a little bit. And I think because we have that bond and that connection, it's more than just coming in and coaching somebody. Like I really care for them and I really want them to be their best, and I can see the potential. And like I said, if they're going to turn up 100%, so am I. And sometimes you just have those days where you need someone to kick you up the bum, which I love doing. But then also the days where you need someone just to, if they want to have a vent about something, or they want to, get something off their chest or have a cry, it's like have a cry, walk out, come back again, like you've got this type of thing. So I don't know, just always being in their corner, I guess. But like I just love doing it because I don't compete anymore. So I still get my little fix out when I see all my babies on stage. I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. So I do really still enjoy it. I just don't have as much time now that I have my own child and another one on the way. It's time that's against me, but I'll still give as much as I can for them.
How do you identify them? Do you identify these girls as a beginner, or does it come in like that?
Yeah, like they both have different journeys. Like Kim, I taught like when she was like a little baby, intermediate polar. And I remember this one specific time, which I tell her all the time. I was spotting her a handstand straddle down on the pole, and I was like, wow, you're really, really flexible. And then I was kind of like, you're going to be really, like in my head, I was like, you're going to be really, really good. So I did identify Kim pretty early on, just because I don't know, maybe coming from a gymnastics background as well, I could see where she could go with all of this. And then, yeah, when Unni came in, I was like, wow, you are just next level phenomenal. Like, where have you been all my life? Like, and she had the determination and the passion and the drive to just get in there and just want to go so far with pole. So again, really different journeys. But I think sometimes too, it's not necessarily me identifying somebody. If students come to me and they want to compete, I feel like if they have the right attitude and the right passion and the dedication, then you can train anybody if they're going to put in 110% all the time.
And was it different with Unni?
The journey was a lot quicker. It was like 0 to 100. And I kind of felt like, when I say I held her back, not really held her back, but she could have progressed even quicker. But I was kind of like, I feel like you need to experience pole a bit more, and there's no race, there's no hurry. Like, enjoy the stage time, enjoy all the moments. Like, you know what I mean, and get that pole experience. Like her dance and performance experience is like next level, and I wanted her to have the same with pole as well. So yeah.
That was only 1 year though, wasn't it? Was she
Uh,
100?
yeah, like she was doing. What did you start private lessons beforehand?
With Caitlin.
Yeah, so she was doing private lessons beforehand, and you probably never thought we were going to go down this path.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know.
next minute we're doing comps and we're doing this, and I'm like, whoa! But yeah, she had the drive, so I was there to push and just kind of guide her, because she was obviously so new to pole as well, and kind of didn't really understand the stream of all the comps, and you know, if you perform in this and you place at this, it's going to rule you out of this. So it was kind of like, you know, she was happy to kind of learn along the way and just grow, but she just grew very, very quickly.
Well, you'll never be able to do APC amateur, Unni.
Disappointing as that may be for you.
Just in case you wanted to. Straight to pro now. Pro for everything. Probably
Pro for everything.
Yeah. I would love to know, Unni, from your perspective, what was your journey?
Well, in pole dancing. So I've actually stopped dancing for like 3 years, and like completely stopped. I lost my passion in dance. I couldn't find myself like as a person. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. And then I bumped into one of my high school friend at Macquarie Centre, and she was like, "Oh, like you should try out pole dancing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll try it. I'll try it out." So I started private lessons with her, and she just helped me find my passion in dance back. So ever since the private lessons, I actually did not want to do like group classes at all. I just wanted to do private lessons so I can progress quicker. And then Danny was like to me, "Oh, you should try out doing like classes." And I'm, "Oh, okay, all right." And then I started to take classes, and then like meeting all, you know, new friends and getting to know the instructors more. I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna stick to, you know, doing classes for in pole dancing. And ever since then, I just started to love pole more and more, because it's also the community, you know.
Yeah.
They helped me find my passion in dance back. Yeah, the whole community.
Yeah. And it's like when you're doing a class, when you're doing a private, it's nice because you get the one-on-one. But when you're doing a class and you get a trick or you do something new, the whole class goes psycho for you.
Yeah, I know.
And so happy for you. And it's just a really nice feeling as an adult, because in dance, I think probably all of us have done dance since we were kids. For me, that was BC. But you know, like, it's a little different, because when you're doing dance, it's so strict. No one's cheering. Your dance teachers just like make it better, point your toes, do this. But in pole, everyone's just so happy and having fun, and it's a completely different environment to what it is in dance.
I agree, and I think as a professional dancer, you get to a point where all of the joy and the love and the fun is gone, and it's just competitive. Like you're only competing against these people to get a job, competing against these people to pay your rent, you know. So a lot of the joy is gone, and finding it again, I think I think that has been reignited by pole in a lot of people. I hear that story of the same as my story as well. And it's the pole dancing community, and just I think the way that pole embraces all styles and all capabilities so beautifully, and celebrates all of those things by bringing us all together, I think is something that's quite unique to pole dancing, and I think it's a really special thing that we all share.
Yeah. So what was your first competition, and how did you go from the class environment to deciding to do this competition?
So my first pole competition was Podium Goddess. So 9 months into pole dancing, I was like, I miss performing. I really miss, just creating my own choreography and performing it on the stage. So 9 months into pole dancing, competed podium goddess. And yeah, and then it just started from there. And then I wanted more. I wanted to perform more. And I progressively like started to find my own style in pole dancing, like as an artist. And it's really nice to have that because I get to find who I am as a performer, who I am as an artist as well. And like it's nice to look back at your routine and you're like, oh, like I can you just keep evolving, that's my drive, you know, when I compete. Yeah.
And so where did you go from podium goddess? Did you place or win that one?
Oh no, not at all. I just no.
Just had a go.
Yeah, I just had a go. I just had to go. Yeah, didn't win anything, but I loved it. I loved the hype. I loved the environment. So I was like, you know what? I want to compete more. Yeah. So yeah. And
So what was your next one after that?
what was it? No, I did podium goddess again.
Oh, twice?
Yeah.
Twice.
And then I won that one. And then ever since then, I started to do hardcore. Yeah. And then after hardcore, it was New South Wales and then Miss Pole Dance Australia.
And then that was all within a 12-month period, is that right?
Oh, no.
2 years.
Yes, yeah.
2 years.
Wow, 2 years. Most people are like
10 years plus.
Yeah, I know. There's people been trying to win Miss Pole for like 15 years, mate.
Literally. More. No, 2 years.
2 years.
That's I'm not. Do you know that that's actually incredible? Are you aware of how incredible that is?
So it took me a while to understand how incredible it was. But then after winning Miss Pole Dance Australia, I was like, shit. I was like, it hit me. Like, I got really emotional because like I deserve to be so proud of myself. All that hard work and that sweat and blood behind my performance, it was so worth it. And that's when I knew, like, oh shit, I did a really good job. I gave myself back.
You did, absolutely. So where's next for you now that you've won one of the biggest titles in Australia? Where's next?
I want to go overseas and compete. I'm going to go back to Korea. I'll see if I can get into Exotic Generation Asia. Yeah, I just sent in my
They might take you. Just a hunch, they might take you.
Yeah, so I want to go overseas and meet new people and make new friends and network and stuff like that. Yeah.
And do workshops and all of that sort of stuff?
Sorry?
Do workshops?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind workshops.
You don't
Yeah.
mind?
But I just like to perform. Like,
You're more of a performer.
I'm more of
than
a
a teacher.
performer.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to share my arts, my routine, my artistic side. Yeah.
Sure. I just think with the workshops, the opportunity is so great because it helps you pay for the travel.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the girls that do win the competitions, once they're doing the workshops around, then it's affordable to keep going around and doing more competitions, international. And and you also still get to meet a lot of people that you would never get to meet. And then you'll have all these fans around the world that you don't even know that you've got, that when you go and do, once you're doing the competition, they'll see you on stage. But if you're actually within the people, it's like once again a really different vibe. So it's exciting to be able to do that because not everyone gets asked to do those,
And I think on that, just expanding on what Ella's saying, in terms of longevity for your pole dancing career, when you build those one-on-one connections with people, like they will remember and they will support you ongoing for many, many, many years into the future. So if you do either like online stuff or workshops in the future, like you have already an audience that's going to welcome you. You don't have to work for it, because you can use the opportunities that you have now to build your future and how you're going to use pole to make money in the future. Because I think that's like our goal long term, is to just use pole to make money, but it's not easy. And so setting up those opportunities now is going to, you can reap the benefits of that later. So I would recommend doing workshops to build, just to share who you are as well, because when people see you on stage, they do get that art. And I think that's, one of the most important things for me is obviously performance and dance. But on the other side of it, you as a person is also important too. And they don't get the opportunity to know who you are from watching you. So I think those two things are really important, and they work in really beautiful harmony to create, something that has longevity as well, not just like a one-off piece that people can watch.
Yeah, agreed. Kym, let us know about your journey.
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm like ancient history. Where did I even begin? So I think when I first started pole, just like started pole, started competing probably about, I'd say like 2 years into doing pole. And then, like I mentioned before, it was kind of these different pub comps leading up. The objective was actually always to do New South Wales Pole Championships. But it was kind of like, how do I set a good foundation to get there? So I did things like hardcore, some different pub comps, and then did New South Wales PC. Then that was my first like big amateur comp, I would say. Ended up winning that as my first sort of major title. And then from there did APC. And I think for me, pole was a bit different in the sense that it's always been, I mean, we're all passionate about it, but particularly for me, it's more like a passion and a hobby sort of type project. So I try to balance everything out with like working full time and like having this corporate career and things like that. And pole very much feeds that artistic sort of creative sense of achievement as well for me too. And so I've had a couple of years, like bits where I've had some breaks and things, and then maybe sort of gone like, all right, I've got this really cool concept or idea, or I'm really inspired by this song, and then I'll enter another competition. So through that, there's been things like hardcore, Miss Pole, and the Miss Pole again, Pole Icon, and different things like that too. So my journey has kind of been like this. It ebbs and flows, I suppose. So it's kind of like I'm doing pole consistently in the background, but sometimes I might be MIA for a couple of years, but trust me, something's brewing in my head.
So are you still maintaining like corporate career as well as being pole awesome?
Yeah, like, and I must admit, it's like I know a lot of the dancers out there are doing the same thing, and it's kind of like it's a lot to juggle. So you just have to pick a priority. Like there was when I was doing Miss Pole and I was really prepping for that, I had to pick that as one of my major priorities. So I was like, right, something has to kind of go to the wayside in order to allow that. Whether it was my relationships as well as like my work as well, that was definitely something that I made a decision on. And I'm really glad I did, because I don't think I would have achieved that otherwise. And I guess that's one of the things where you're just trying to balance everything. Children, I'm sure that's also something you've got to balance for you guys too. So yeah.
You sound like you have a really good approach to the bigger picture and putting priorities and importance and weight where it is important. Do you have like, is there any advice that you might give to someone who is struggling to balance those things? Like, how do you choose, decide, know which things should take priority and when?
I think like I received really good advice from someone who was, I think she was like a director level at one of my old workplaces. And I think what she said to me was like, you got to just accept that, yeah, of course we want to do everything. Absolutely, that is something that we want to do, but it's just not necessarily possible, or your health is going to suffer from that. So you just have to pick like, what do you really want to achieve now, next 5 years, or whatever that is, and then start planning for that. So I think it's kind of like accepting that you've got all these goals you're trying to achieve, but you've got to pick what's your top one, and then going after that and focusing all your energy and effort into that too.
So what did winning Miss Pole Dance Australia, because obviously that's your biggest title and an incredible title, what did that change for you? What did that mean to you?
I was not expecting it. And so Unni was on stage with me too. So obviously that was when we were allowed to have human props. And I think my vision and the inspiration was about, creating this type of like demonic type scene. I just was like, oh, I want it to be really scary. And I want people to feel like involved and a part of that. And that was really all I was trying to achieve, was kind of giving people that sense of like, yeah, I'm scared, I'm getting goosebumps or whatever it is. And I want to be part of this story. So as like when I went into that competition, that was all I was trying to achieve. And when that all sort of unveiled, I was like, oh my God, like I genuinely was not expecting that. And I think it did throw a bit of like a whirlwind in my personal life, because it made me wonder different things like, am I on the right, like, is pole more than just a hobby for me? Like, should I be exploring this as being another sort of avenue for me? And that is something I'm still trying to understand and unpack. And that's okay. Like, that's also part of the journey. But for me, I think it was just like, it was just so overwhelming, unexpected.
Yeah.
And opened up so many opportunities where I got to meet new people like Felix. And yeah, it's been great so far.
What do you do in your corporate life?
Yeah, so I am in sales at the moment. I've worked in FMCGs like all my life. So I've worked in like project management. I used to be in product development and R&D. But now I'm currently in sales and still sticking to like FMCGs. So I've used to work at Arnott's, for example. I used to work at My Muscle Chef, Woolies. Yeah, and that's currently what I'm doing at the moment.
Amazing. But if I could maybe offer you some unsolicited advice.
Give it. Come on, let's go.
I think that the really beautiful thing about pole dancing not being your main job is it is your passion and your love. As soon as you move into being a professional pole dancer, that joy it diminishes, and sometimes it goes away, and because it's your job, it's your like bread and butter. So you don't have the joy, you don't have the time to enjoy it as much. So I think that, when you're balancing out your priorities, like how important is that fire? How important is that love of it? Because are you able to do pole dancing and still do it and enjoy it without the fire? Because I think a lot of times when people start doing pole as their main job, that fire goes away. It's still there, but it's not the same when you have to make money with it. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, yep.
Well, yeah, because you're all competitors. Yeah. So it's very different to competing than it is to doing your workshops and teaching, and for you, Dani, running a studio. So yeah, it's really different. So you've got to, what is it about pole that you love?
Yeah, I think that's so important to sort of identify before you idealize or make something more important maybe than it actually is just break it down and really know what it is about the art that you love, that you need, because you don't want to turn it into something that then you start to not resent, but it isn't what it was. So yeah, I think I remember not being a professional pole dancer and how I felt about pole dancing and versus now, which is a lot later. It is different. And do I miss the way that it was? Yes, I do. Like I do miss that. And it was such a short period of time, which I think why, Dani, when you said like just slow down and enjoy the journey, I think that was such great advice, because you never get that back. Once you're moving up and you're progressing and it becomes more, work or your life, you don't get that joyous first period back. So I think that was really beautiful advice and thing that you did.
Yeah. Kim, what do you see next for you? Do you still want to keep competing?
I think I'm in one of those. Yeah. What'd you say, Dani?
Yes, I wanted to compete again.
It's
Your
like,
coach is broken.
just in one of those moments, how I was like, yeah, I might go MIA for a period of time. Right now, I think to Felix's point, for me, I'm very much driven by like a vision or an idea and like a concept. So if I want to really bring something to life or just whatever that might be, I think that's what I'm trying to identify. I feel like such a creative saying that, but that is something I really love, is just figuring out what am I trying to achieve with my next routine, and then that gives me a clear sort of like direction and goal, I suppose, for me.
So is that a yes? You're going to keep competing?
It's a TBC.
And on the audience side, we all love to see you on stage. Like whatever I've seen you bring has always been spectacular. So I'll be Team Dani. I'll be like, yes, it's a yes. Yes.
Yeah.
A low pressure yes.
Yeah, okay. I think it is though hard to follow up once you won a huge title. Like then you've got a lot of pressure on you after you've won a huge title. Like where do you go from there? And what if you don't win again? Does that affect like any of you?
I mean, like, I don't know about you, Unni, but like for me personally, and I know I spoke to you about that when it happened as well. It's something which I feel as though isn't spoken about enough, if I must admit, in the industry or just as a whole, like with anything in life. I think everyone's like, wow, like you've achieved this thing. And obviously you're like, it is incredible. And you are so fortunate to have that. But at the same time, it did affect me quite a lot mentally, if I'm honest, and quite open with you guys about that, and to listeners as well. It kind of made me start questioning, wait, how did this even happen? And I started having like this I was spiraling into like this imposter syndrome. And I think it wasn't until I was actually talking to, I know Felix, you and I kind of spoke about that when I was in Perth as well, and that was really helpful for me too. And I also spoke to Philly, and I think Philly was actually the one who checked in and said like, hey, how are you actually? And it didn't click to me that maybe other people also felt that, but it is like this massive amount of pressure. And I think what's important to me now is kind of letting that go, because it's not about, I think it's always just been about creating something that people really enjoy watching or they connect with. And if I can continue doing that, that's great. And it doesn't really matter whatever happens in terms of like titles or placings or anything like that. It's just more, what do I actually want to achieve here? And am I doing it? Yeah.
Did titles ever matter to you? Was that ever important?
I think like it is this massive, you feel great. Like you got to be honest, you do feel great when you do win, because it's recognition and everyone likes recognition. Yeah. And it validates the work that you've put in, because there's so much time and effort gone into that. So it kind of validates that in a way. So I can't deny that it was something that was important to me, but at the same time, I think I had to be really mindful of making sure that I didn't get too much external validation, I suppose, from it, because that also affected me mentally. So it was more about, what does Kim want? What does this mean to her? And how do I make that like healthy and possible, I suppose.
So do you think that you would go for a Miss Pole title again?
I am like, I'm not sure. I think about, the guys like Felix, one of them, Philly's one of them, like Mishka. The list could go on. It's just, I think it's incredible that they've all done that. I just think for me, I'm kind of in this position where I'm like, do I want to do that? And you know what? Hopefully I stay true to my words, because based off what I've just said, I should. If I have a vision and that's what I want to do, and if placing doesn't matter to me, then I should just do it and give myself that opportunity to be back on that stage.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Unni?
Well, for me, I just think of what is next. What other comps can I do, to create a routine? Like I just get more and more excited. It's like my endorphins just like completely I know. Yeah. I get so much adrenaline. I just get so hyped up and excited for what's going to come next. And I think for me, creating just creating just helps me feel
How weird.
like
You've always been very creative. So
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
it's an outlet for you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's an outlet.
Yes.
Doing routines and comps and performances is probably an outlet.
Yeah, it is.
Like
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic for me. Thank you.
want to go for a second Miss Pole title?
Oh, fuck yes. It's not burnt out yet. Burnt out. I've still got so much.
That's right, exactly.
So good. Yeah, you're so fresh.
Give. Like, I want to give more to the people. I want to get inspired. I want to inspire people. It's just so therapeutic to me. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's great. It's a great attitude, and I think we could all learn from that. Like, it's not it really, yeah, it's about sharing, and it's about that creative outlet. And competitions, they aren't just about winning. They provide us a stage to really display our art, and that's, I think, the best bit really is, when you get to do your thing on stage. The accolades that come with it are nice, and the recognition is nice, but it's not as good as you feel when you have done it really good. You're like, fucking nailed that. I nailed that.
Thanks for listening to part 2 of our chat with Miss Dani, Unni, and Kim. Stay tuned for next week when we release part 3.